Welcome to our latest version of the Better Futures report. We are celebrating 11 years of monitoring social, environmental and economic issues that New Zealanders care most deeply about. There's no doubt that 2019 was full of media coverage about issues that got us talking, and many of that caused us to think about our place in the world. Whilst people take an interest in global issues, they're much more likely to act on things that are closer to home. The biggest surprise for us was the impact of climate change. And previously, this was one of the fastest rising concerns for adults. But it's not appearing in the top 10 of concerns for adults. It is appearing in the top 10 concerns for youth. 50% of New Zealanders have said that they have taken some action on climate change. That has particularly come from our younger audience, 18 to 29-year-olds. So the other thing about climate change, it has really woken up people to the concept of waste. So plastic bags were the lightning rod. The ban on plastic bags has actually heightened people's awareness of all of the other waste that they have in their life now. So they are really starting to care about brands that care about waste reduction, pollution, recycling and plastic build-up. In actual fact, 48% of our audience said that they had deliberately switched brands in order to be more sustainable. It's really important that in order to future-proof ourselves that we are aware of these trends and that we are actually taking notice of them and doing something about it. It's a very rapidly changing landscape. I guess the most interesting thing about climate change, though, is the emotions that it evokes. People have a lot of feelings, but what this means is that it causes doubt. The whole debate around climate change has caused friction, I guess. When there is doubt or when there is uncertainty, then that hampers our ability to be creative, make decisions and do great things. And the net effect of that is that people end up doing very little. If there is any uncertainty about it, then they would tend to just be sustainable when it's convenient for them. But the fact that is, if we want to capitalise on people's desire to have a positive impact on the planet, we actually need to find out what their love language is. And it's not always going to be an environmental narrative. We're not going to be able to save the planet with teacups. We do need leadership, and people are looking for leadership. Closer to home though, New Zealanders are looking to the government and to business for leadership. It looks like environmental policies are the things that they are really seeking guidance on, and that would be the case for all political parties. They're also looking for really clear guidance on labelling and claims to enable them to make more environmentally friendly decisions. So just be mindful that divergence on these issues is actually causing apathy and inaction, and we don't want that. We want people to get on board. So what people are looking for is transformative leadership. People, big businesses that can get out there and say that they're making changes that the consumers really want to see. So that's the question to me, is what transformative change can you do in your businesses that can future-proof your business as well?
There is a very real gap between what people say that they want to do, their intentions, their values, and the actions that they then actually take. How we can get people across that gap, how we can bridge it. And that's where businesses can be very, very influential. Because if businesses are good at one thing, it's about taking people's needs and turning them into products that they can actually buy and actually do things about. But that's where we have marketing and products and distribution, all that kind of stuff that we kind of do. 50 to 70% of people are saying, I want to be more sustainable. I want to buy sustainable products. But the actual number of sustainable products which are available to them and bought is probably around about 5%. So when we're actually thinking about sustainability in business sometimes, it's worth thinking about, well, what is the sustainable difference I can help my customers make? Instead of putting everything on the customer and expecting them to go through all those barriers, make it easy, make it available there at the kind of point of sale, and they can kind of do it. And any corporates in the room, they should be thinking about this and getting behind those guys, because I think they're going to go places. We end up presenting the sustainable choice as something which is alternative or slightly different. And as human beings, we don't really like being alternative or slightly different. We don't really like feeling weird. What is the change that we can help people to make for themselves? What is the bridge that I can make in my business between people's values and people's intentions and the actions that they're going to take through?
For you, what are you seeing as the biggest barriers to businesses taking the lead?
I would say, in answer to that question, the barriers are almost none. And the reason I say that is that this is just about business. What we've seen today is just massive opportunity, huge opportunity. And you'd be crazy not to look at that opportunity and think, how can I be part of this and how can I make my business more successful? This is a revolution happening in real time. It's just business. It's just business. So there's no barriers. It's just about looking at the world in a slightly different way and looking where you need to go and getting on with it. We didn't go out of our way to create climate change. We just did it. And so we didn't go and invent the internal combustion engine to create this thing, but we did it. And now, similarly, we can just do it in the other direction.
What is sustainability leadership about? Going after what's intuitive there, or knowing the facts and the science and convincing all the people you can connect with to change what actually comes up on that screen to something that will matter?
On one hand, consumers, on the other, business, and in the middle, government. I think we can achieve the transformation we want. It's probably the responsibility of us leaders to orchestrate these dimensions together to see change happen.
Much of it won't come from regulation. Much of it will come from the reality of business. That to remain competitive, to stay in business, people will have to change. Because I think we want the same thing out of this. At the end, we're all citizens and we're human beings and we want this to work. And government has a role, business has a role, private sector, civil society has a role, I think a very important role through voice. But my belief is none of us is going to get there. We're not going to get this through some sort of totalitarian response, because in the end that'll collapse. So that's government 100% out. We're not going to get it through 100% business or 100% civil society. We're going to have to work together on this. But there's a role for regulation.
As consumers, we're also kind of regulators as well. We have to remember that we're empowered with our money and we get to choose where we spend our money. And so I think businesses and government can only do so much, but as consumers we can make a huge impact if we all make better decisions.
Thank you all for coming along this evening, because I think it's, in front of me are the people, you are the change agents, you are the ones that are going to make change possible, and without this sort of level of interest, we're not going to make a change.